Jack Nelson stepped off the transport ship and looked up at the massive Galactic Council headquarters for the first time. The building rose into the purple sky like a twisted spire of glass and metal, reflecting the light of two suns. Jack adjusted his plain gray suit and straightened his tie. He took a deep breath of the alien air, which tasted faintly of metal and something sweet he couldn't name. "Ambassador Nelson, welcome to Centralis," said a thin blue alien with 4 arms. "I am Zex, your assigned guide. Please follow me to process your diplomatic credentials." Jack nodded and followed Zex through the massive entry hall. Aliens of every shape, size, and color moved through the space. Some floated above the ground. Others crawled along the walls. A few seemed to shift forms as they walked. Jack kept his face neutral, though his eyes carefully recorded everything. "Earth is honored to join the galactic community," Jack said in a soft, pleasant voice. He carried a simple briefcase and walked with the slight hesitation of someone in an unfamiliar place. Several larger aliens bumped into him without apology. Jack stumbled but said nothing. "The Council has granted your world observer status only," Zex replied. "Full membership requires a civilization to be at least 10,000 years old with proven stability. Humans have only recently stopped killing each other over resources and imaginary borderlines." Jack smiled politely. "We're eager to learn from more advanced species." Zex led Jack through a series of security checkpoints. At each one, Jack was scanned by machines that hummed and clicked. The last scanner beeped loudly. "Is there a problem?" Jack asked. A large security officer with rocky skin examined the readout. "Minor anomalies in your biological signature. Probably the scanner struggling to process human physiology. We don't see many of your kind here." The officer waved him through with obvious disinterest. Jack's living quarters were small and located in the farthest wing from the council chambers. The room had a bed too long for a human, air set to a temperature slightly too cold for comfort, and gravity set 15% stronger than Earth normal. Zex didn't offer to adjust any of these settings. Council sessions begin at dawn. Junior observers sit in the back gallery. "Do not speak unless directly addressed by a council member," Zex said before leaving. Once alone, Jack carefully checked the room for surveillance devices. He found 7 and left them untouched. He unpacked his few belongings, setting up the appearance of a simple diplomat on his first off-world assignment. When the room was secure, Jack stood very still in the center and closed his eyes. His heart rate slowed to 20 beats per minute. His body temperature dropped slightly. Inside his mind, he activated his neural implants, connecting to the hidden systems built into his body. "Mission parameters unchanged," Jack vocalized, the words never leaving his mouth, but recorded by his internal systems. "Cover identity established. Beginning Phase 1 reconnaissance." Jack opened his eyes and became once more the unassuming human diplomat. He carefully showered, dressed in sleeping clothes, and went to bed early like someone suffering from travel fatigue and adaptation to a new planet. The next morning, Jack arrived at the council chambers 15 minutes early. He wore his second-best suit, saving his best one for more important meetings. He took his assigned seat in the back row of the massive circular chamber. The room could hold representatives from 500 worlds, though only the 12 founding species held permanent positions on the High Council itself. "Another human," muttered a tentacled delegate seated nearby. "I thought the last one gave up and went home." "This one looks even softer," replied another alien with feathers covering its face. "Their world sends merchants and diplomats, while the rest of us send our strongest." Jack pretended not to hear, though his enhanced hearing caught every word. He opened his datapad and reviewed the day's agenda with apparent concentration that the council session was long and tedious. trade disputes between ancient empires, arguments about mining rights in uninhabited systems, discussions of quarantine, protocols for a new plant disease. Jack took careful notes, appearing to struggle occasionally with the translation of technical terms. When the Council addressed Earth's petition for improved trade routes, the matter was dismissed in less than 2 minutes. Earth's ships are too slow and their goods too primitive to justify premium route access, declared Ambassador Vrel of the Diraxian Empire, a tall insectoid being with compound eyes and chitinous armor. Perhaps in another century, they might have something worth trading. No one spoke in Earth's defense. Jack made a note to request a meeting with Ambassador Vrel, but showed no outward reaction to the dismissal. After the session, Jack approached several delegates and introduced himself, with a polite smile and a slight bow. Most barely acknowledged him before moving on to more important conversations. Ambassador Kelleria of the Arcturian Federation gave him 30 seconds of attention. Human, your predecessor made many demands, but offered little in return. I suggest a different approach if you wish to accomplish anything here. Thank you for the advice, Ambassador. I hope to learn from his mistakes, Jack replied humbly. That evening, Jack ate alone in the diplomatic dining hall. The food was a bland protein paste safe for most oxygen-breathing species. He ate slowly while observing the alliances and rivalries playing out around him. Who sat with whom? Who refused to acknowledge others? Which species seemed to hold the real power beyond official titles? Back in his quarters, Jack removed his suit jacket and hung it carefully in the small closet. He sat at his desk and prepared a standard diplomatic report for Earth, detailing the day's proceedings and requesting guidance on the trade route issue. After sending the official report through regular channels, Jack activated his secure implants. Again, this time, he sent a very different message directly to Earth Special Command, bypassing the Council's monitoring systems completely. Day 1 assessment. Council defenses as expected. Security protocols standard. Have identified 7 key targets for surveillance. Ambassador Vrel shows unusual interest in Earth despite public dismissal. Request full background. Detected possible communications between Diraxian and Zelvan representatives outside official channels. Will investigate further. No sign that cover is compromised. Jack then deactivated his secure systems and became once more just a minor diplomat. From a backward planet, he reviewed trade proposals until late in the night, preparing arguments that would likely be ignored. To anyone watching, he was merely a dedicated but unimportant human, trying his best in a role too big for him. As he finally prepared for sleep, Jack noticed a message on his official communication channel. It was an invitation to a diplomatic reception the following evening, hosted by Ambassador Vrel. Jack allowed himself a small smile. The first piece had moved on the board. Phase 1 proceeding ahead of schedule, he noted mentally before closing his eyes. Beneath his unremarkable exterior, advanced systems monitored his vital signs, processed data, and prepared for whatever might come next. The Council would continue to see only what Jack wanted them to see. A human in a suit, nothing more. 3 months passed. Jack became a familiar sight in the Council chambers, always in one of his 5 identical gray suits, always sitting quietly in the back, always taking notes. Most delegates stopped noticing him entirely. Jack spent his days attending meetings and filing reports. He requested trade agreements that were denied. He asked questions that went unanswered. He smiled politely when ignored. At night, he returned to his small quarters at the edge of the diplomatic wing. What no one saw was what happened in those quarters when Jack was alone. Each night, he processed the day's information through his enhanced neural systems. His eyes could record everything they saw. His ears caught conversations from 30 feet away. Tiny sensors in his fingertips collected data from every surface he touched. Jack had built a complete map of the council headquarters in his mind. He knew which doors required special access. He tracked the movement patterns of security forces. He identified which delegates met in secret and where, all while appearing to be exactly what everyone thought. He was a harmless human diplomat of no importance. On this night, Jack sat at his desk reviewing documents about resource allocations to developing worlds. The patterns troubled him. Newer species like humans received fewer resources each cycle, while the 12 founding species took more. The official explanation was efficiency of distribution, but Jack saw the truth in the numbers. A soft chime interrupted his work. Someone was at his door. Jack quickly closed the secure files and pulled up trade reports instead. He straightened his tie before answering. Lisa Winters stood in the hallway. She was an aide to the Arcturian delegation, a human woman with short, blonde hair and bright blue eyes. Jack had spoken to her briefly at diplomatic functions, but knew little about her. "Ambassador Nelson, I apologize for the late hour," she said. "Ambassador Kelria asked me to deliver these reports for your review before tomorrow's session." Jack invited her in with a polite gesture. No need to apologize. "I was just catching up on work." Lisa handed him a data tablet. As Jack reached for it, she pressed a small device against his hand. Jack felt a slight tingle as it scanned him, searching for recording devices or weapons. He allowed it, curious about her real purpose. "We're secure," Lisa said, her voice dropping to a whisper. "No one is listening. At least not right now." Jack maintained his diplomat persona. "I'm not sure I understand." Lisa's eyes narrowed. "You can drop the act with me, Nelson. I know what you are." Jack set the tablet down carefully. "And what am I, Ms. Winters?" "Not just some low-level diplomat, that's for sure." She sat down without being invited. "I've been watching you. You notice things others miss. You remember conversations word for word. Your eyes track security patterns. No normal human does that." Jack considered his options. If Lisa was a security threat, he had ways to handle the situation. But something about her felt genuine. He decided to test her. "What if I told you I'm exactly what I appear to be?" Lisa smiled slightly. "Then I'd say you're wasting both our time. And time is something Earth doesn't have much of right now." Jack sat very still, his face revealing nothing. "Explain." "There's a conspiracy in the council. Several senior delegates, led by Ambassador Vrel, are planning something called the Protective Oversight Initiative. It sounds nice, but it's really a plan to take control of developing worlds, including Earth." Jack didn't show surprise, though. This confirmed his suspicions. "And how do you know this?" "Because I work for the Galactic Unity Movement," Lisa said. "We're a group from various species who believe in actual equality, not just the facade the Council presents. We have members in most delegations, gathering information. If what you're saying is true, why come to me?" Lisa leaned forward. "Because Earth needs to know what's coming. And because you're not what you seem, I need to know if you're someone I can trust." Jack weighed his next words carefully. After a moment, he made a decision. He reached up and touched a spot behind his ear. A small device activated, creating a field that would block any surveillance that might have escaped his notice. "You're?" "Right. I'm not just a diplomat," Jack said, his voice deeper and more confident than his usual diplomatic tone. "I'm here to gather intelligence on potential threats to Earth. I've suspected something like what you're describing, but lacked proof." Lisa's shoulders relaxed slightly. "I can help with that. The movement has access to information you don't. But we need to know what Earth plans to do if the Council moves against it." "That depends on the nature of the threat," Jack replied. "Earth appears weak because we choose to be seen that way. The reality is different." Lisa studied his face. Different how? Jack smiled. That's not something I'm authorized to share. Not yet. But I can tell you that if the Council thinks humans are easy targets, they've made a serious miscalculation. They spent the next hour sharing information. Lisa revealed that the Protective Oversight Initiative would begin with economic sanctions against Earth, followed by a peacekeeping force to maintain stability. The true goal was to gain control of Earth's resources and prevent humans from developing further. The older species fear us, Lisa explained. Not for what we are now, but for what we might become. Humans adapt faster than any species they've encountered. They see that as a threat. Jack showed Lisa the resource allocation data he'd been studying. They've been preparing for this move for years, weakening Earth's position, making us more dependent. The initiative will be formally proposed in 3 weeks, Lisa said. Once it starts, it will be hard to stop. Then we need evidence to expose the plan before that happens, Jack replied. Something concrete that neutral council members can't ignore. Lisa nodded. The movement believes such evidence exists in the secure archives. Records of private meetings, financial transfers, communication logs. But no one has been able to access them. I might be able to help with that, Jack said. His implants could interface with most security systems given enough time. As they finished talking, Jack escorted Lisa to the door. We'll meet again tomorrow, same time. Bring whatever intelligence your movement has on the archive security protocols. After she left, Jack reactivated his neural implants and sent an encrypted message to Earth Special Command. Conspiracy confirmed. Council faction planning takeover of Earth under guise of peacekeeping. Timeline: 3 weeks. Have local ally with supporting intelligence. Request permission to access restricted systems for evidence gathering. Stand by for possible escalation. The response came within minutes. Permission granted. Gather evidence. Expose conspiracy if possible. If detected, you are authorized for Level 2 revelation. Reinforcements on standby. Jack looked at himself in the mirror. The unassuming diplomat stared back. Soon, the council might learn what lay beneath the human in the suit. For now, he would continue the deception, moving carefully in this dangerous game. He checked his calendar for the next day. Ambassador Vrel had requested a private meeting to discuss Earth's future in the galactic community. Jack smiled slightly as he confirmed the appointment. The game was moving faster now. Jack sat across from Ambassador Vrel in the Diraxian's private office. The room was kept uncomfortably warm and humid for human standards, but Jack showed no signs of discomfort. Vrel's compound eyes reflected Jack's image back at him like dozens of tiny mirrors. Ambassador Nelson, thank you for accepting my invitation, Vrel said. His voice had a clicking quality from the mandibles that moved as he spoke. Earth has been part of the galactic community for almost 2 years now. It seems time to discuss your world's future. Jack maintained his humble diplomat persona. We appreciate any guidance the Council can provide. Earth is still learning its place in the wider galaxy. Vrel's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. Yes, learning one's proper place is important. The Council has been observing Earth closely. We have concerns about your species' development path. Concerns? Jack asked, looking appropriately worried. I wasn't aware of any issues with our compliance. Not compliance, exactly. More about stability. Earth has a history of conflict. Your technology advances rapidly, but your social structures lag behind. This creates risk. Jack nodded seriously. We've worked hard to overcome our violent past, indeed. But the Council believes Earth might benefit from more direct guidance. Vrel slid a data tablet across the desk. This is a preliminary proposal for what we call protective oversight. Several developing worlds have already accepted similar arrangements. Jack read the document carefully. The language was diplomatic, but the meaning was clear. Earth would surrender significant sovereignty in exchange for protection and guidance. Resource control would shift to Council management. Human military forces would be limited and supervised, all while being presented as a beneficial partnership. "This is certainly comprehensive," Jack said, choosing his words carefully, "though I'm not sure Earth is ready for such an arrangement." Vrel's posture stiffened slightly. "The alternative might be isolation, Ambassador. A galaxy can be dangerous for worlds that stand alone." "Was that a threat?" Jack asked, allowing a hint of alarm to enter his voice. "Merely an observation of reality." Vrel's mandibles clicked again. "Consider the proposal carefully. The Council votes on this initiative in 2 weeks. Earth's cooperation would make the transition smoother for everyone." Jack left the meeting with a data tablet. His diplomat face showed concern, but inside, his enhanced systems were already analyzing the document for hidden information. The proposal contained exactly what Lisa had warned him about. Now he had proof of the plan, but it wasn't enough to stop it. He needed evidence of the conspiracy behind it. That night, Jack met Lisa in a quiet corner of the diplomatic garden. Security was minimal here, and the dense plants provided cover from surveillance. "Vrel gave me this today," Jack said, showing her the tablet. Lisa scanned it quickly. "It's happening faster than we thought. We need to move now." "The secure archives?" Jack asked. Lisa nodded. "The movement has identified a potential access point during the Unity celebration 3 days from now. Most security personnel will be assigned to protect the delegates. The archive will have minimal staffing. I'll need detailed layouts and security protocols," Jack said. "Already done." Lisa handed him a small data chip. "But there's a problem. We'll need 2 people. One to bypass the main security node, another to access the files." Jack studied the information. "It can be done, but the risk is significant. If we're caught, Earth becomes a subject world," Lisa finished, "and the movement loses its best chance to expose the Council's corruption." Jack made his decision. 3 days. The Unity celebration. We go in together. The next 3 days passed slowly. Jack attended council sessions, filed reports, and maintained his cover. He met with other Earth-friendly delegates, seeking potential allies if things went wrong. At night, he prepared his body and mind for what was coming. On the night of the Unity celebration, Jack wore his best suit. He attended the opening ceremonies in the Grand Hall, making himself visible to key delegates. He smiled, made small talk, and appeared completely normal. An hour into the event, he excused himself, claiming a need for fresh air. Jack met Lisa at the prearranged location near the security sector. She wore the formal uniform of an Arcturian diplomatic aide, which gave her legitimate reason to be in most areas of the building. "Ready?" she asked. Jack nodded and touched the spot behind his ear, activating his countermeasures against surveillance. "Lead the way." They moved through the less traveled corridors, using Lisa's access codes to pass through security checkpoints. When they encountered guards, Lisa did the talking while Jack remained a forgettable presence in the background. His enhanced vision monitored for security devices, allowing them to avoid detection. After 20 minutes of careful movement, they reached the outer security ring of the archives. Here, the real work would begin. "The main security node is through there," Lisa whispered, pointing to a doorway guarded by automated systems. "I'll need 3 minutes to disable it. Once I do, you'll have access to the inner archive, but only for 5 minutes before the system resets." Jack prepared himself. 5 minutes will be enough. Lisa used her security credentials to approach the door. Jack waited until she was inside, then moved to his position. He would enter the archive from a different access point once the security was down. Jack counted the seconds. At precisely the 3-minute mark, The subtle hum of the security field disappeared. Jack moved immediately, slipping through a maintenance door and into the archive proper. The archive was a vast room filled with data storage units. Jack located the section containing council meeting records from the past year. His neural implants connected to the system, allowing him to search and download information at high speed. He found what they needed: quickly private communications between Vrel and 6 other council members, discussing the real purpose of the Protective Oversight Initiative. The evidence was damning. Jack had just finished downloading the data when alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. The security system was resetting early. Something had gone wrong. "Lisa," Jack subvocalized into his hidden communicator. "Status?" No response came. Jack moved quickly toward the security node where Lisa should be. As he approached, he heard voices, angry, threatening voices. He peered around a corner and saw Lisa surrounded by 6 Daraxian elite guards. Ambassador Vrel stood before her, mandibles clicking furiously. "Where is the human?" Vrel demanded. "We know you weren't working alone." Lisa's face was bruised, but her expression remained defiant. "I don't know what you're talking about." One of the guards struck her, sending her to her knees. Jack assessed the situation instantly. The corridor held 6 guards, all armed with energy weapons. Vrel stood slightly back, unarmored but dangerous. Lisa was injured but conscious. The security systems were coming back online, which would trap them all inside within seconds. Jack had a choice to make. He could retreat with the evidence, potentially complete the mission, but abandon Lisa. Or he could intervene, risking everything, but potentially saving his ally. For Jack Nelson, it wasn't really a choice at all. He stepped into the corridor, hands raised in apparent surrender. "Ambassador Vrel, I believe you're looking for me." All eyes turned to him, the unremarkable human diplomat in his gray suit. "Ah, Ambassador Nelson," Vrel said, his voice cold. "How disappointing to find Earth's representative engaging in espionage. The Council will be most disturbed by this breach of trust." Jack maintained his diplomat's smile. "There seems to be a misunderstanding." The first energy blast hit him squarely in the chest, burning through his suit jacket. The force pushed him back a step, but he remained standing. Vrel's compound eyes widened in surprise. "Impossible." The guards raised their weapons again. All pointed at the human who should have fallen but didn't. Jack's smile changed to something altogether different. "You really should have done your research before attacking a human in a suit." Smoke rose from the hole in Jack's suit where the energy blast had hit. The cloth burned away, revealing something shiny and metallic underneath. The Daraxian guards stared in confusion. Humans were supposed to be soft, fragile creatures. This one should be dead. "Fire again," Vrel ordered, his voice rising with alarm. All 6 guards fired their weapons at once. Energy beams hit Jack from multiple angles. His suit caught fire in several places, the fabric burning away completely. But Jack still stood where his diplomatic suit had been. There was now something else. A second skin of dark metal covered his body. It shifted and moved like liquid, but was clearly solid. Jack's eyes glowed slightly blue, and faint lines of light ran across his body in complex patterns. "As I was saying," Jack continued in a voice that no longer sounded meek or uncertain, "there has been a misunderstanding. You seem to think humans are weak." One guard reached for a communication device. Jack moved. To the Daraxians, he seemed to blur. One moment he stood 10 feet away. The next, he was beside the guard, holding the communicator in his hand. "Let's keep this conversation private," Jack said. The guards attacked. They were elite warriors, trained in combat for decades. Their reflexes were considered exceptional among council species. But to Jack, they moved in slow motion. He dodged energy blasts that should have been impossible to avoid. When a guard swung at him, Jack caught the blow with one hand. When another fired at point-blank range, Jack twisted away the energy blast. Missing him by millimeters, Jack disabled the first guard with a precise strike to a nerve cluster in the Duraxian's neck. The second and third fell just as quickly. Jack moved between them like water, never where they expected, always one step ahead. Lisa watched from where she knelt on the floor, her eyes wide with amazement. "What are you?" she whispered the remaining. Guards formed a protective circle around Vrel. Their weapons were set to maximum power now. "Stop this at once," Vrel demanded, though fear had crept into his voice. "You are violating every diplomatic protocol," says the ambassador planning to subjugate my planet, Jack replied calmly. He hadn't even broken a sweat. "I think we're a bit past protocols, don't you? You cannot win," Vrel said. "Even if you defeat my guards, the entire security force will respond. You will never leave this building alive." Jack smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. "I'm not trying to escape, Ambassador. I'm trying to send a message." The final three guards attacked together. Jack moved faster than before, his enhanced body pushing beyond normal limits. He disarmed one guard and used the weapon to disable the security systems along the wall. He threw another guard into the third, sending both crashing into a data terminal in less than 30 seconds. All 6 elite Duraxian warriors lay unconscious on the floor. None were dead. Jack had been precise in his attacks, causing no permanent damage. Vrel backed away until he hit the wall. For the first time in his long diplomatic career, the Duraxian ambassador felt true fear. "What are you?" he asked, unconsciously echoing Lisa's question. Jack walked toward him slowly. "I am human diplomatic special operative Jack Nelson, one of many similar operatives Earth has placed throughout the galaxy." Vrel's mandibles clicked rapidly in distress. "Impossible. Our intelligence reports show humans have no such technology." "Yes, that's what we wanted you to believe." Jack reached out and touched the wall next to Vrel's head. His fingers sank slightly into the metal, as if it were clay. "Humans evolved on a death world, Ambassador. Our gravity is crushing. Our atmosphere is toxic to most species. Our wildlife would give your soldiers nightmares." Jack leaned closer. "But our greatest strength isn't physical. It's that we look harmless until we're not. We appear weak until we choose to be strong. We seem primitive until we reveal what we can really do." "The Council will never allow this," Vrel said. "The Council doesn't know what humans truly are," Jack replied. "But they're about to learn." Jack turned away from Vrel and went to Lisa. He helped her to her feet gently. "Are you all right?" Lisa nodded, still staring at his transformed appearance. "You're not just enhanced with technology, are you? This is something more. Earth has been preparing for first contact for over a century," Jack explained. "We developed technologies we kept hidden, created operatives who could appear human, but be much more when needed." Lisa's eyes widened in understanding. The passive scans at the entry checkpoints ... detected anomalies, but dismissed them as scanner errors, Jack finished. "No one expects a primitive species to have technology that can fool their advanced systems." A loud alarm began to sound throughout the facility. Security forces would arrive soon. "We need to move," Jack said. "I have the evidence we came for." "What? About him?" Lisa asked, looking at Vrel, who remained frozen against the wall. Jack turned to the ambassador. "You're coming with us. The Council needs to hear what you've been planning." "I will do no such thing," Vrel said, trying to regain his dignity. Jack moved faster than Vrel could follow. Suddenly, the human was holding him by the front of his ceremonial robes, lifting the much larger alien with one hand. "That wasn't a request, Ambassador. With Vrel in tow and Lisa at his side, Jack made his way through the building. Security forces converged on their position, but Jack avoided them with uncanny precision. He seemed to know exactly where each guard would be before they arrived. "How are you doing that?" Lisa asked as they ducked into an empty room seconds before a patrol passed. "My neural implants are connected to the security grid," Jack explained. "I can see their movements before they make them." They reached the central communication hub of the council headquarters. Guards were positioned outside, but Jack found another way and through maintenance tunnels. "What are we doing here?" Lisa asked. "I thought we were escaping." "Escaping was never the plan," Jack said. "We're going to broadcast the evidence to every delegation in the council. Everyone will see what Vrel and his allies have been plotting." The communication hub was massive, filled with equipment that connected to every part of the headquarters and to ships and worlds beyond. Jack set to work immediately, his fingers moving across control panels with blurring speed. "You can't do this," Vrel protested. "Those are private council communications." "Communications about illegally subjugating developing worlds," Jack corrected. "I think that makes them evidence of conspiracy." Jack completed the preparations and turned to Lisa. "Once I start the broadcast, every species in the galaxy will know what the council really is. There's no going back from that." Lisa looked at the evidence displayed on the screen's plans to control Earth, to strip it of resources, to keep humanity contained and subdued. She nodded firmly. "Do it." Jack activated the broadcast. Across the council headquarters, in every delegation's quarters, in the main chambers and private offices, screens came to life showing the conspiracy in the council's own words. "What happens now?" Lisa asked as the broadcast began. Jack's metal skin rippled slightly as he turned to look at her. "Now the galaxy learns what happens when you attack a human in a suit." Chaos erupted throughout the council headquarters. Delegates watched in shock as their screens displayed the secret plans to take over Earth and other developing worlds. Security teams rushed toward the communication hub, but found all doors locked by systems they couldn't override. Inside the hub, Jack stood calmly beside the broadcast controls. His metallic skin reflected the flashing emergency lights. Lisa guarded Ambassador Vrel, who had given up trying to escape and now sat in defeated silence. "How long until they break through?" Lisa asked. "Approximately 17 minutes, Jack replied. "More than enough time for every delegation to see the evidence." Communications began pouring in from across the facility. Delegates demanded explanations. Some expressed outrage at the conspiracy. Others were shocked to see what Jack really was. The main screen activated, showing High Commissioner Zalax, the head of the council. The elderly Nalarian's face showed a mix of anger and concern. "Ambassador Nelson," Zalax said, "what is the meaning of this broadcast? And what has happened to you?" Jack faced the screen. "High Commissioner, I've uncovered evidence of a conspiracy within your council. Ambassador Vrel and 6 other senior delegates have been planning to place Earth and other developing worlds under what they call protective oversight. The truth is they plan to strip our resources and restrict our development." "These are serious accusations," Zalax replied. "The evidence is being transmitted to all delegations now," Jack said. "Ambassador Vrel can confirm its authenticity." "He's here with me." The camera shifted to show Vrel. The Duraxian glared, but said nothing. Zalax's expression darkened. "And your appearance, Ambassador Nelson? You are clearly not what you claim to be." "Neither was the conspiracy," Jack replied. "Earth sent me here to gather intelligence on potential threats. We had hoped to join the galactic community peacefully, but prepared for the possibility that not all species would welcome us as equals." Alarms continued to blare as security forces tried to breach the hub. Jack received an alert through his neural implants. "We have company," he told Lisa. The main doors to the hub burst open. Elite security forces from multiple species poured in, weapons aimed at Jack and Lisa. "Stand down," ordered the security chief, a massive reptilian being. "You are under arrest for espionage, assault, and unauthorized access to council systems." Jack didn't move. "The broadcast is complete. Every delegation has seen the evidence. You can arrest us, but you can't undo the truth." High Commissioner Zalax spoke through the still-active communication screen. "Hold your fire. I am calling an emergency council session immediately. Bring Ambassador Nelson, Miss Winters, and Ambassador Vrel to the main chamber." The security forces looked uncertain, but lowered their weapons slightly. Jack allowed his metallic skin to retract, revealing his human appearance underneath. The metal seemed to sink into his body until he looked normal again, except for his torn and burned suit. This display of technology made several security officers step back in alarm. "We'll come peacefully," Jack said. Security escorted them through. Corridors filled with confused and frightened staff. Delegates from various species watched as they passed, staring at Jack with new eyes. No longer did they see a forgettable human diplomat. Now they saw something unknown and potentially dangerous. The main council chamber was packed. All 12 senior council members sat in their elevated positions. Delegates from hundreds of worlds filled the observer seats. The room hummed with tense conversation that fell silent when Jack entered. Jack, Lisa, and Vrel were brought to the center of the chamber. Security forces formed a wide circle around them, weapons ready. High Commissioner Zalax spoke first. "The Council has reviewed the evidence broadcast throughout our facility. We have also examined security footage of Ambassador Nelson's abilities. Before we proceed, we must address a fundamental question." He fixed Jack with a steady gaze. "What are you truly? And what is humanity's real place in the galaxy?" Jack looked around the chamber. Every eye was on him. This moment would define Earth's relationship with the galactic community for generations to come. "I am a human diplomatic special operative," Jack said, his voice carrying throughout the chamber. "Earth created operatives like me to protect our interests while we learned about the galaxy. What you saw today is only a fraction of what we can do." Murmurs spread through the crowd. "Humans appear simple and unadvanced to you," Jack continued. "Our ships seem slow, our technology primitive. This was by design. We've been watching and learning, revealing only what we wanted you to see. Are you threatening this council?" asked a senior delegate. "No, I'm inviting you to know us as we truly are." Jack's voice remained calm. "Humans come from a world that would kill most of your species in minutes. We evolved to survive and adapt. When we discovered we weren't alone. In the universe, we prepared for the possibility that not all advanced civilizations would be friendly." A holographic display activated above the chamber floor. Earth's president appeared, having been contacted during the crisis. "Members of the Galactic Council," the president said, "what you've witnessed today was not meant to be a revelation. We had hoped to gradually introduce our true capabilities as trust was built. Ambassador Vrel's conspiracy forced our hand. Vrel was brought forward." "This is absurd," he protested. "The human is the one who committed crimes against the Council. The evidence speaks for itself," High Commissioner Zalax said. 7 senior delegates conspiring to subjugate developing worlds for their resources. "This violates our most sacred principles." The president spoke again. "Earth desires peaceful relations with all species. We have much to offer as genuine partners rather than subjects. Advanced medical technologies, sustainable energy systems, defensive capabilities that could benefit all peaceful worlds." Whispers filled the chamber as delegates processed this information. High Commissioner Zalax raised his hands for silence. The Council must consider these revelations carefully. Ambassador Vrel and his co-conspirators will face investigation for their actions. As for Earth, he looked at Jack thoughtfully. It seems we have much to learn about our newest member world. 3 days later, Jack stood in a new office. It was large, centrally located within the diplomatic wing, and properly adjusted for human comfort. His new title was inscribed on the door: Senior Earth Representative to the Galactic Council. Lisa entered, now officially recognized as part of Earth's delegation. The Council has formally censured Vrel and the others, she reported. 3 have resigned already. The Protective Oversight Initiative has been permanently shelved, Jack nodded. He wore a new suit, perfectly tailored, no longer designed to make him look unimportant. And the other developing worlds? Being offered fair trade agreements and representation on specialized committees, Lisa said with a smile. The Galactic Unity movement is suddenly very popular. A communication alert sounded. The High Commissioner was calling a special session to discuss Earth's new status in the Council. Ready for this? Lisa asked. Jack straightened his tie. Earth has been ready for decades. As they walked to the Council chamber, delegates no longer ignored Jack or bumped into him dismissively. They moved aside, watching him with new respect and, in some cases, wariness. Jack smiled slightly. The Council had learned an important lesson: never judge a species by its appearance, and never, ever attack a human in a suit until you know what's really underneath.